doing the song again and asking other questions. Listen, please. I'm going to do something different. Yum ba dum ba da da, yum ba da ba dum. Does this sound familiar? Yes, it does. La da dee ya da bum be ya bum ba da bum. Yum ba dum ba da da, ya da ba be ya ba bum. I changed the rhythm pattern at the end. Instead of do dee do dee do dee do, I went do da dee do da dee do. Questions at all? I'm not sure. You're giving me these strange looks. Are you understanding me?
Mm-hmm. That's just the way they always look.
What?
That's just the way they always look.
What? Wow. We ought to wear masks. Well, look. You're asking about practical application, and that's it. Yes.
Can I ask you to jump
Louder,
to?
please.
Can I ask you to jump to instrumental application?
I will.
Okay.
Can I finish this one with tonal?
You can do anything you want.
Then I'll do the instrumental. She told me what to do.
I do it.
Okay. So we'll finish this. Now where do I go from here? I've talked about tonality and I've talked about meter. But I'll say, hey class, yum ba da ba da yum ba da ba dum. You know the first is a tonic pattern, the second is a dominant pattern going back to tonic. Can you hear the chords? Over here, would you please sing this group? Do, mi, so. And then sing ti, fa, so, fa, ti. So when I do this, you sing do, mi, so, mi, do. When I do this thing, you sing ti, fa, so, fa, ti. I sing, you do the accompaniment, here we go. Yada, di, yada, da, yada, di, yada. Okay, this is my introduction into improvisation, harmonic improvisation. So they begin to hear chord changes. And by the way, if you're interested at all, if I get children in kindergarten, I start doing this sort of thing by second grade. All this idea of when do you teach part singing and do all that, I just ignore it completely. What the bureaucrats write in their books. I find children in second grade can do this beautifully if you teach them how to audiate. So what is the one chord in minor? La, do, mi. La, do, mi, do, la. 5, si, re, mi, re, si. La, do, mi, do, la. Subdominant. La, re, fa, la, re, fa, re, la, la, do, mi, do, la, da, di, bi, a, bum, bi, a, dum, bi, a, dum, fa, re, mi, do, re, ti, do, la. Sing the chords for me. La, do, mi, do, la. La, do, mi, do, la, la, re, fa, re, la, si, re, mi, re, si, la, do, mi, do, la, da, di, ya, da, bum, bi, ya, dum, bi, ya, dum. So I start teaching chord changes. Questions at all? Yes, sir.
Do you start teaching solfege hand
Louder,
signs?
please.
Solfege hand signs?
No.
No?
Because if I start using Kodai hand signs, that's like teaching them to read prematurely. In other words, just another form of notation. I don't want anyone to use their eyes. I want them to use their ears. So I have no use for the Kodai signs, but many of my friends who teach Kodai, who are good musicians, they say the signs help children sing in choir with better intonation. And that may be. I don't have any experience with that. But all I know is if I'm dealing in elementary school and I'm not interested in performance, if I start this kind of thing, they're watching my hands and my arms. And I want them not to see anything, but to just constantly use their ears. That's what audiation and music learning theory is all about. Yum ba-dum ba-dee-ya, yum ba-dum ba-dum. Well, what I would do is to bum ba-da-dee-ya-dum, have new chords. I have the same chords, but I would ask persons to start improvising a new melody to those chords. Instead of yum ba-da-ba-dee-ya, dum ba-da-ba-dum, how about yum bum 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 be-yum. Very simple improvisation. And if you can do this, and I do it in about second or third grade, when I get to teaching reading, it's so simple. Because when I teach reading now, all I have to do is show them what it looks like, what they can already audiate. In other words, I don't have to teach reading and say, see this, now this is what it sounds like. I say, this is what it sounds like, this is what it looks like. It's a complete reversal of the way most persons teach reading. But if you teach improvisation, it's going to work beautifully. Okay, that's practical application. Yes, sir.
When they start to improvise,
Yeah.
how often do they nail it, and how often do they sing a wrong note in the
Well,
chord?
you see, that's a very interesting question you asked, because when we start improvising, I'll say, you know, we're not putting on a performance. So when you make improvisations, there are no mistakes. None. So don't look at me and say, or I'm sorry, because everything you do is acceptable. So there are no mistakes. So we never even discuss that. If there are things that maybe I don't feel fit, it's their improvisation. And if it's a mistake, they generally will do, and they know it, so I don't have to tell them. And then they do it in their own audiation and correct it. So how often do they nail it? Practically never. But the thing is, they're ya-da-dee-ya-da-dee-ya. They're just searching. It's part improvisation and part exploration. But it's going to move on a continuum to improvisation. So I don't expect them to nail it right away. As a matter of fact, I really love the mistakes, because I find with my better students, it's the ones who make a mistake from my point of view who find their way out of it. In other words, some of the greatest jazz musicians that I've ever played with, and I've heard them say this, that some of the greatest improvisations was a result of mistakes. I myself make lots of mistakes, but I find my way out of it, and I think that's the glory of improvisation. Okay, so I don't know what else to tell you about it. Application, practical application. How about asking me some questions, and I'll be glad to pursue it before I get to instrumental music. Or if you have questions, think about them, and I'll come back to this. Anything at all you want to discuss about what I've just done?
Well, I've got a
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
I see my kids once a week, so it takes us a long time. We're gradually working through our LSAs. Would we be able to start doing improvisation and chord tones even if we haven't gotten to solfege?
I would say no.
So wait until we're in verbal
I
association?
would wait, and I would do it according to the learning theory schedule.
Okay.
In other words,